Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to today's edition of Friday Expressions. This is The Conscious Mind. I'm your host, Kelli Smith, licensed professional counselor, and let's just dive right into it. Today, we are going to be talking about communication. So, the ultimate form of expressions obviously is going to involve some type of communication, whether it is verbal, meaning you're using your mouth, or it's nonverbal, you're using your body language, your hands, whatever it is, okay? We know that we all communicate in different ways, depending on the dialect, might determine the region that you're from. There may be certain words or code languages or things like that that you use within your family, maybe inside jokes or verbs, or just the way you talk that your community around you or your system, they're familiar, they know, okay? My style of communication also involves me talking with my hands, which is why you'll see sometimes that I move with my hands, or maybe sometimes I keep a pen with me just so I can kind of like rotate it or something. But it's all about expression, okay? So let's dive into 3 forms of communication today: passive, assertive, and aggressive. And then we're going to do maybe some activities and stuff. Okay, so if you have not already, before I get into these, make sure you take a moment, hit that subscribe button down there, hit the like button, and definitely share this with everybody you know, okay? So Friday expressions, and we're talking about communication. All right, now, first type of communication I want to talk about with you today is passive communication. It's going to be a thumbs up in the comments if you know what passive communication is. Okay, so this is when someone prioritizes the needs, the wants, and the feelings of others, even at their own expense. So how many times have you allowed others to dictate to you, to order you, to you put other people's needs before your own? You considered other people's feelings before your own, and not speaking up for yourself, okay? I'm guilty of it, okay? So some examples of someone like not standing up for themselves are being soft-spoken, quiet. They allow others to take advantage of them. They lack confidence. They don't express their own needs or wants. So oftentimes they put themselves on the back burner just so that they can make others feel better, okay? These people, sometimes you can kind of associate them with being people pleasers, okay? But the problem with passive communication is that you can be taken advantage of, and that's not cool, okay? And you may mean well, and other people may not see that you mean well, or they take advantage of you meaning well, okay? And they walk all over you, oh, April's not going to mind, like she doesn't care if we eat her brownies. Well, April does mind, or April is a passive communicator. She doesn't know how to speak up for herself, okay? The next one is aggressive communication, okay? If you know what the term aggressive is, then you know aggressive communication means this person speaks loud. They are in a more like an overbearing way. They command and they demand attention, but not always in the most polite or positive way, okay? They use criticism, humiliation, domination, very disrespectful. So someone who's an aggressive communicator, they often come with some type of fear or intimidation that kind of goes along with them. This might be the person who interrupts all the time. They don't allow others to voice their opinion. It's their way or the highway. And if you remember our previous Friday expression, we talked about that cognitive distortion of the all or nothing thinking, okay? This kind of goes along a little bit with that. So remember, the first one is the passive communication. The second one is aggressive communication. And you can guess what the third one is: assertive communication. That's right. Now, assertive is like a balance between, okay? So with assertive, you're looking at someone who empathizes the importance of both people's needs, okay? They're also able to stand up and speak up for themselves, for their own needs and wants and feelings, but they can also listen and show respect to others, okay? Assertive communication is really what we strive for a lot. It gives us that equal balance between passive and aggressive, okay? So assertive communicators, they're willing to compromise. They're not gonna let you walk over them, but they're willing to say, okay, you know what? You have it this time, I'll choose the place next time, okay? They're able to make good eye contact. They are confident in their tone, in their body language. One thing I want to mention about aggressive communicators, sometimes they're more with a closed off stance, like arms crossed, kind of you see the wrinkle lines. Don't look too close at my wrinkle lines. The pouty kind of, face or whatever. And passive is kind of, they may still have like a closed off body language, or just maybe more of aloof or distant because they're, focused on everyone else. So let's look at some examples, okay? All right. We'll look at some examples. So let's say we have a friend who wants to borrow your car, and it's going to be a huge, huge, huge inconvenience to you, okay? The passive communicator, their response might be what? For example, yeah, I guess that's fine. Do you need me to fill the tank? Or maybe they are, well, when will you be back? Not saying that they have something to do, but just asking, okay? Aggressive communicator, their response could be what? What's your guess? Yeah, okay. So the answer I have is an aggressive communicator could say something like, no way, why would I let you borrow my car? You're crazy to even ask. I'm probably saying this a little nicer than an aggressive person, but you get the idea, okay? They're going to be a flat out no, okay? The assertive, the same example, okay? Friend asks to borrow your car. An assertive person may say, well, I need my car that day, but I can drop you off. So they're willing to compromise so you're not left out in the cold, but, you're not going to just borrow the car and just be riding out around town, okay? All right, so I've got several practice scenarios, and I'm actually going to take one and post it in the body of this video so that you can kind of practice one on your own, okay? And definitely if you want to work more on these and you want to have your own time to kind of go over multiple scenarios, definitely hit me up. Go to my website, www.consciousmindllc.com, okay? And schedule your 30-minute wellness consultation. We can definitely discuss your communication style and see maybe if things need to change, okay? Or if things need to be tweaked a little or strengthened, okay? Remember, there's always room for growth. Now, so we've talked about the 3 types of communication. The passive, remember those, the aggressive, okay, and the assertive. But there's a 4th one I want to mention. Before I do, make sure you hit that subscribe or that like button and share this video with at least 5 friends, okay? So I'm going to go back up. Passive, aggressive, assertive, okay? So think about which one you're striving towards. Do you want to be passive in your communication, lacking confidence, allowing others to take advantage? Do you want to be aggressive in your communication, being frequently interrupting others, disrespectful, very easily frustrated? Or do you want to have and learn how to have assertive communication, okay? Where you're able to compromise, listen without interrupting people, stand up for your rights, and make good eye contact, okay? All of these are very important in relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic, friendships, in business, in school, everything. So think about times in the past that you've communicated with someone, whether it's recent or more in the distant past, and just kind of go back through these examples, replay the parts where I'm talking about the examples and the definition of each of these, and just kind of see which communicator you are, what the outcome of that situation was, and what could be different, if anything, okay? All right, so I mentioned that fourth one. I gave y'all time to pause the video, to like, to share, and subscribe, okay? Now, fourth kind, don't always hear mentioned, or maybe you hear it mentioned in different references. It is the passive aggressive communicator, okay? So we've already talked about what passive is, and we've talked about what aggressive is, but is it really possible for someone to be both? Absolutely it is, okay? So you can imagine someone who's passive aggressive, they can stand up for themselves, okay? But they don't stand up for themselves in front of the person they need to stand up in front of. They wait until they're in another room, in their car, they're gone, that person's gone, to really voice how they feel. Instead of being assertive, they're more aggressive. They're rougher, harsher in their tones, okay? So let's just say you are at a party, okay? And someone bumps into you and a little of their drink spills on your favorite shirt, okay? Naturally, you're probably going to be upset. It's your favorite shirt. So the passive aggressive person would just kind of brush it off, maybe blame themselves for the person bumping into them, and just tell them, oh, it's okay. No, you know, it's fine. I'll clean it up. I was getting ready to leave anyway. When really they weren't. They were having a good time and they're really upset, okay? So instead of saying something to the person, they brush it off, become very passive, okay? But then they turn around maybe to their friends or to someone else, or they walk away and they're more aggressive. They start talking about the person. Man, I can't believe he bumped into me. He need to watch where he going. This is my favorite shirt. This stains are never going to come out. My whole day is ruined. Ugh, I can't stand it here. See, it's why I'm like none of y'all, no way. Okay? So they're becoming aggressive. They're becoming loud, worked up, but they're not voicing that to the person who actually bumped into them. And they're not talking in a way that's going to bring a resolution to the situation in the end, okay? An assertive person, same scenario, may have said, oh, you know, it's okay. I know it's real crowded in here, but, you know, just kind of be mindful of your drink. Maybe hold your drink a different way or something. So they're going to stand up for themselves and say, man, this is my favorite shirt. I didn't appreciate that, but, you know, it's a shirt, okay? They're going to stand up for themselves, but they're not going to get aggressive to where they're ready to fight. And they're not just going to let the person walk away without knowing you messed up my favorite shirt, okay? What's the resolution in all of that? Well, the person still has to get the shirt cleaned, get their shirt cleaned, but are they going to be aggressive and demand for the person to pay for it? Probably not, because how's that probably going to end, okay? Are they just going to ignore that the whole situation and just mope and grump about it to everyone who gives them the time of day to listen? You know, so the choice is really up to yours. So go back, think about that situation, think about other situations you've been in, and see if passive aggressive fits you, okay? Now, let's say you are communicating with your partner, okay? And I use the term partner, but really, honestly, that could be, anybody, whether it's platonic relationship or romantic, okay? Let's now shift focus and let's talk about fair fighting rules, okay? So anyone in life, at some point, you're going to have an argument with someone, okay? And it's very important not to hit below the belt. What does that mean? Saying things to intentionally hurt or harm the other person or persons. That's hitting below the belt, okay? You know the triggers of your friends. You know the triggers of your partner. Why go there? Why make matters worse? Argue the point, and that's it, okay? So let's look at some fair fighting rules. Before you begin, ask yourself, why do you feel upset? What about this situation is really making you feel angry, okay? Is it really that they left the mustard on the counter? Or are you upset because it's an unequal share of housework? What is it really? So the first thing is to take a look at your own feelings before even starting the argument, before even having that conversation, okay? The second thing, discuss one issue at a time. So remember I said, stay focused on the topic. We're not bringing up stuff from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. We're talking about the issue at hand. So let's just say it's the mustard. Is it really the mustard, or are you upset because they don't show consideration for your feelings? Okay. If it's the latter, talk about that with your partner. It might start off with the mustard, but you may say, it's really not about the mustard that I'm upset. I'm really upset that you don't consider my busy schedule or my feelings when you just leave things all around the house. Okay. That's discussing one issue. That's it. Just the person leaving their stuff out around the house, not putting things up. Okay. Now, I'm saying partner and I'm using that, but remember, you can apply these same rules and principles to any situation, any argument, any conversation. Okay. Number 3, are you ready for this one? No degrading language. It is hard, especially when that one person that really pushes your button and you want to just put them down, use all kind of curse words, name calling. Remember I said not bringing up the past? The degrading language is part of that. Don't hit below the belt, okay? Stay on topic. There's no need to call them a dirty slob because they're not picking up behind themselves. That's name calling, and it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. The fourth one, express your feelings with words and take responsibility for them. I feel angry. I feel hurt. I feel scared. Okay. Starting with I is a good technique to help you take responsibility for your feelings. So you can't say whatever you want. I'm sorry. You have to think about what you're going to say, which means, what was rule number 1? Before you begin, ask yourself why you're upset, okay? And so we want to take responsibility for our words, for our thoughts, for our feelings, okay? Which means we're going to start our sentences with I, okay? That's a great way to start taking responsibility. You can't say whatever you want as long as it starts with an I either, okay? Remember, no degrading language, stay on topic. Now, 5th, take turns talking. If you've noticed throughout this video, I've stopped talking just to kind of give you a moment to either talk back to me or to process what I'm saying. And feel free to pause at any time if you need to think about what we're talking and see how it really applies to you, okay? So number 5, take turns talking. So this can be tough, but be careful not to interrupt. Because interrupting only means you're not listening to the person, you're just waiting for your next time to talk. And if you're not listening to the person, you're not going to get anywhere, and that argument it's going to blow up even more, okay? Even more than probably necessary, okay? So now, this is a suggestion, but remember, you're going to do what works best for you and your partner, okay? Try setting a timer, allowing 1 minute for each person to speak without interruption, okay? And not spending that minute thinking about what you're going to say back to your partner, but really sitting and listening, okay? So remember, we're going to go back to our communication styles. The aggressive communicator doesn't listen to other people. They only hear and think about what they want to say to get their point across. The assertive person listens, okay? So really think about the communication style that you want to exhibit every day. Do you want to be the person who never listens to anyone? Or do you want to be the person who can listen and still be able to voice their opinion? Okay. All right. I think it's number 6, stonewalling. Sometimes the easiest way to respond to an argument is to retreat in your shell and refuse to speak. Okay. This refusal to communicate is called stonewalling. You might feel better temporarily, but the issue still remains unresolved and your partner will feel more upset, okay? Stonewalling is also the silent treatment, okay? How many of you have ever used or had the silent treatment used against you? Does it help? No, okay? Stonewalling, we don't want to just stop talking, but state why you're not talking. Maybe you need a timeout. Maybe it's getting too intense, or maybe the conversation is just not really going anywhere and you just need to take a break. Say that, okay? It's okay. Say that, to take a break. But just to stop talking or refuse to talk, not cool. All right, next one. This kind of goes back with the no degrading comments, okay? But also no yelling. Sometimes arguments are won by being the loudest, but the problem only gets worse. So if I'm talking to you and I'm constantly yelling and yelling and yelling, are we really getting anywhere? Not at all. All right, so let's recap real quick before we get down to the final 2. Okay, so we'll go back to our first one, fair fighting rules. That's what we're talking about today on Friday Expressions, and we're dealing all with communication, okay? 1, ask yourself why you feel upset. Figure this out, take some few minutes to kind of reflect and everything before you start talking, before you start the conversation or argument. 2, discuss one issue at a time. It's kind of hard to navigate multiple topics at one time because that can lead to confusion, okay? Especially if you keep piggybacking and going back and forth on different topics. The translation in what you're trying to say may get lost or misinterpreted. So discuss one thing at a time. 3, no degrading language. We talked about this. Don't hit below the belt, okay? 4, express your feelings with words and take responsibility for them, okay? Remember, we talked about using the I statements. I feel angry. I feel hurt when you ignore my phone calls. Things like that, okay? Number 5, take turns talking, okay? Let's say that one again. Take turns talking. If it's hard to take turns and you find yourself really want to interject and interrupt, chances are you're not listening to the person. You're only listening to respond. So make sure you're taking turns talking. Next, no stonewalling. Remember, we talked about that refusal to communicate. It's called stonewalling. Might feel better for the time being because you feel like you won the argument because you made the other person stop talking because you stopped talking. but the issue didn't go away. The issue wasn't resolved, okay? So remember, no stone walling. Number 7, okay, no yelling. Arguments are not won by who's the loudest, okay? And really, do we really need to win the argument, or do we need to resolve the issue? So think about that when you're thinking about why you're really upset. Think about really getting to the bottom of the issue so that this argument isn't something that's repeated every day, every week, every month, okay? Remember, if you're having difficulty getting your point across, or if you're having just trouble communicating with your partner altogether, it might be a good idea to head over to our website and schedule your 30-minute wellness consultation. Together, we can work out your communication styles and figure out how you can fight fair and maybe even join your partner into the session, okay? Right, number 8, here we go. We're almost done. We've got nine rules for you. Number 8, take a time out if things get too heated. Now, we talked about this just a little bit already, stonewalling, but it's okay to say you need a break. It's okay to ask for time out. And I would say, hey, set that rule in the beginning before you start. If things get too heated or you just need space, you need to cool your head, have a code word ready, okay? Have a signal, or just simply say, I need a minute to process. It's as simple as that. In a perfect world, we would allow all the following rules 100% of the time, but it doesn't work like that. So if an argument starts to become too personal or too heated, take that time out. Agree on a time to come back and discuss the problem when everyone's cooled down. The worst thing that can happen is you keep instigating or egging on that person, or you keep driving your point across to where your point is no longer heard. And this simple conversation has now escalated into a huge fighting match, whether it's a verbal or physical. That's what we don't want, because at the end of the day, nothing's resolved. So make sure you take a time out if things get too heated. Okay. And our last one, our very last one, attempt to come to a compromise or an understanding. So in the beginning, if you know what we're arguing about and we stick to one topic at a time and we stay on topic, we're able to come to a compromise or an understanding. Okay. So now you're wondering, how does all this tie in? The types of communication, fair fighting rules. Let's make sense of this. If I know what type of communicator I am before I have an argument, I'm going to stand a better chance of being able to voice my opinions and hear the opinions of the other person and come to a resolution, okay? Which means I have to be aware of how I talk, how I react, how I respond, okay? Before I can get into an argument or conversation with someone else, okay? Great debaters always know their strongest and their weakest points. They always know their styles, when to take a breath, when to speed up, when to listen, okay? That's the makings of a great communicator, okay? Stonewalling doesn't get it. Yelling doesn't get it. Being degrading doesn't get it, okay? There isn't always a perfect answer to an argument. Life's just too messy for that. So you do your best to come to a compromise. This means some give and take from both sides. But if you don't come to a compromise, doesn't mean you get in your feelings and you immediately go to that negative space. It means maybe there's something that you're both missing. You need that time out just to kind of figure it out from your own perspectives, or maybe you need a third neutral party to come in and just kind of help you get back on track. That's what counseling is for. Do it all the time. Okay, so definitely thank y'all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in and learning about the fair fighting rules, our 3 main types of communication, and that bonus type of communication that we don't always see all the times, but it's there. Okay, so remember your homework. I'm going to post one of the scenarios in the section below. Make sure, if you haven't already, to hit that like and hit that subscribe button so that you can definitely come back to this video and be alerted every time a new video is posted I so greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Tune in next week. We will be talking about procrastination. I am huge with procrastination. I will tell you that much. So definitely want to stay tuned. Hear what I have to say. If you've got questions or you have topics that you want included on Friday Expressions or Mental Health Mondays, hit me up on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let me know what topic you want, and I'll be sure to work it into the schedule, okay? Not sure what to talk about, or maybe you just need your own session to figure out some personal issues. The 30-minute wellness consultations are right there for you, okay? $30 for 30 minutes, very affordable, quick, easy. We're getting right straight to the heart of things, straight to the point, okay? So definitely visit our website, www.theconsciousmind.com. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button and share. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day.